Hey folks, what's up? This is Evan from Stock Music Musician, and today I want to show you the brand new free plugin from Waves called Magma Lil Tube. This is a really fun, simple, easy to use saturation knob from Waves. I'll put a link down below to grab it. As far as I know right now, it is only available for free during this Black Friday weekend, so you need to grab it right now by clicking that link. It may not be free come next week. I don't know, but it is free right now, so don't sleep on it. Grab it today, and this is going to give you a quick guide on how to use it, although it's very easy to use. I'm going to give you some examples of it on a few different instruments, and I'm going to compare it to its most obvious sort of free competitor, the Soft Tube Saturation Knob, which is another great free saturation tool. As far as things go, I would say the Magma Lil Tube is a 5 out of 5. It's a very simple, straightforward saturation knob. It has 3 sets of controls. First, sensitivity, which basically sort of the input stage, like it's not determining what frequencies it responds to, but how high of an input goes into it. And depending on which stage you're at, it will automatically adjust the output gain to make up for it. So it's kind of like, if you're on soft, then the output will be here. And if you're on high, the output will automatically be here. But you don't see this going on up front. It's all going on behind the scenes. So this is an independent output switch knob here. And then the drive knob here, which is how much saturation is going on to it. So just to start with, I will play you this song. And this song essentially has the saturation knob on every instrument, including my wonderful vocals here, just because I kind of wanted to show you what that would sound like on vocals, but obviously I'm a terrible singer, so no need to mention in the comments about that. So I've got a parallel drum channel with saturation. I've got an unprocessed hand clap channel. I've got a guitar channel here with the Magma Lil amp as a preamp to the guitar amp simulator, and it really adds a lot of grit and bite there. Got a bunch of stacked vocals with Magma on it, and then we got a bass channel, again with Magma as a preamp. So let's listen to everything just as it is, and then we'll kind of go through and turn off the instances of Magma. So that's like adding a lot of crunch to it. Now let's turn off these instances of Magma. I'll turn the vocals off for now. Just so to me, it's adding some warmth, some fullness, and some grit, and definitely a little bit of that desirable clean saturation. So let's start just by looking at this guitar channel here. So I've got the Magma Lil Tube going into the amp simulator, which is essentially creating additional drive for us. So let's listen to this on and off. Basically what we're doing is we're overloading the preamp on the guitar simulator, but also adding some saturation to it. This is a great use of the Magma Tube. You hear how it's breaking up right now, and then it's just a much cleaner pluck without it. And about a quarter of that, maybe half of that distortion and wonderfulness is coming from the Magma Tube, and half is coming from the way putting something like this in front of your guitar amp simulator just adds more breakup. So I've turned off that guitar amp simulator. Now let's listen to Lil Tube on and off. It's off right now, or it's on right now, sorry. let's turn it on. Honestly, it's doing about half the work of the amp simulator. And then let's bring the amp simulator in. So you can see, this is a tool that will take what you already have and elevate it, but it's also, you can get away with this as like a clean guitar part. Another place I want to show it to you is on this parallel drum bus. I'm sending all of my drums to this channel called PSAT, Parallel Saturation, and I've got the Magma Lil Tube on it, set with a lot of drive and a normal sensitivity. So let's listen to this now, on and off. We'll solo the drums. By running it in parallel, you're adding a little bit of extra smack and grit and drive to it, a little bit more fullness and roundness, but we're not taking away from anything on the drums themselves because they're still there completely clean. If we were to drop the Magma Lil Tube directly on the drums, you probably would hear some of the low end go away. You'd probably lose some of that resolution, which is exactly what saturation and distortion is supposed to do. But that's why I would recommend that another wonderful use of this is as a parallel saturator. Let's mess around with a little bit with some of the settings. So let's try the 3 sensitivity modes and the drive knob on these parallel drums in and of themselves. So now we're not hearing the clean drums. Now we're only hearing the saturated parallel drums. So did you notice that the volume dropped when I increased the sensitivity? And I'll go down to soft and normal, and you'll hear some major changes in volume. So just you might want to turn down your volume before I do this. But I just kind of want to show you how this is compensating for the volume. However, the volume on this drive knob is not compensated. So if let's do it on normal or soft, normal, so you can really hear it. So you hear the volume gets louder. So you may, if you're using these other modes, as you drop up the drive, you may want to compensate the output volume here. But you hear how it's like all broken up here. And for me, that's what starts to get really interesting and crunchy. You'll see the light also light up. The brighter it is, the more saturation is going on. If we turn it all the way on high saturation, high sensitivity, and we'll do some volume compensation, it's totally blown out. Like I said, I just want to compare this to the soft tube saturation knob, which is the other classic free saturation knob. So one thing to note is that the saturation type on soft tube saturation knob is actually very different than this sensitivity knob. Basically, what these 3 selections do is what section, it's kind of like a high pass and a low pass filter, essentially on the saturation. So if you do keep low, it means that the saturation isn't going to apply to the lowest frequencies. I'm not exactly sure the cutoff is. And if you do keep high, then it means saturation won't apply to the highest frequencies. And if you do neutral, saturation will apply to all frequencies equally. So we'll start out with sort of a neutral setting on this Lil Magma Tube. Now let's listen on the soft tube. And I think that phasing is actually on the drum samples as they are right now. I need to get that set up on my recording a little better. So to me, the soft tube is like a brighter, crunchier saturation, whereas the Lil Tube is like a warmer, growlier saturation. I think they're both incredibly usable and incredibly useful, and two free saturation plugins that should be in everybody's setup. So go click that link down below, grab it. Hope you enjoy it, and hope this helped you get a little bit of a better sense of how to use Wave's new Magma Lil Tube.